I was kneeling in my front yard, hands in the dirt, sweat running down my neck, when I heard the voice behind me. Sharp, cold. "You need to stop digging, right now." I didn't look up. I didn't have to. It was her, Karen. Short haircut, clipboard in hand, sunglasses on like she was heading an FBI raid instead of strolling across the cul-de-sac. She never missed a chance to bark orders. But today felt different. "You're violating HOA codes. Section 8, Clause 14B. Unauthorized excavation. That's destruction of community property." I kept my voice steady. "It's my yard." She didn't blink. "That's what you think." Then she turned on her heel and walked away. I figured she was just bluffing again. Same as when she claimed my porch light was a safety hazard, or when she fined me for having a blue truck because it didn't match the community aesthetic. But 10 minutes later, I heard sirens. Real ones. 2 squad cars rolled up like I'd just robbed a bank. My 10-year-old daughter ran out, scared out of her mind, and I told her to go back inside and lock the door. My hands were still covered in dirt when the first officer stepped out. His hand hovered near his holster. "Are you Mr. Blake?" I nodded slowly. "We got a report about an aggressive man destroying HOA property and threatening board members." That's when Karen came marching over, already talking before anyone asked her a thing. "He was yelling, digging like a lunatic. I was afraid for my life," she said, clutching her chest like she was about to faint. "He's unstable. He might be armed." I laughed. I couldn't help it. I was planting rose bushes. Karen didn't even flinch. She looked the cop dead in the eye and said, "Shoot if he resists. That's what the HOA protocol says." The officer glanced at her, then at me. His face tightened. "I'm gonna need you to stand up, slowly." I stood. No sudden moves. My heart was thudding. My daughter's face was still peeking through the living room blinds. Then something clicked. The officer looked down at where I'd been digging, and he saw it. The edge of a plastic tarp. Just the corner. Just enough. Karen saw it too. Her face changed. For a split second, panic. That's when I knew. She didn't call the cops because I was digging. She called them because of what I might find. And trust me, I was just getting started. I didn't say a word as they cuffed me, just kept my eyes on that little piece of tarp sticking out of the dirt. The officer shoved me into the back of the cruiser, and Karen stood there, arms crossed, pretending she was the hero of the neighborhood. As the car started to pull away, I saw her walk over to the spot I was digging. She tried to nudge the tarp back into the soil with her foot. Subtle, quick, but not quick enough. The officer driving glanced at me through the mirror. "You got any weapons in the house?" "No," I said calmly, "but you might want to ask why she's covering up things on my land." He didn't answer. Didn't need to. I saw it in his eyes. He was curious. Something felt off. We didn't go far. They stopped a few blocks down, parked behind a gas station, and turned off the engine. The second officer came around, opened the door, and told me to step out. "We're gonna take these off," he said, unlocking the cuffs. "You're not under arrest. Yet." "Yet?" I raised an eyebrow. He nodded slowly. "We've had calls from her before. Most are nonsense, but this one got flogged higher up. HOA board sent a direct request to dispatch. Said you were violent. Dangerous. We even got some kind of internal HOA memo. Said use force if needed." I stared at him. "You think that sounds normal?" He didn't reply. "Then let me take you back to the yard. Let me show you what I was digging." The younger cop looked at the older one. They didn't say anything, but 5 minutes later, we were back at my place. Karen was gone, but the tarp still there. And this time, no one stopped me. I walked over, knelt down again, and pulled. The dirt gave way easily, and what came out wasn't just junk. Metal license plates. Dozens. Rusted, dented, some from states I'd never even been to. And then, a lockbox. Old. Heavy. I didn't even get it fully uncovered before one of the officers stepped forward. "What is that?" "I was hoping you'd tell me," I muttered. One of them called for a unit with tools. They wanted to open it on site. But before they could, my daughter screamed from inside the house. I turned just in time to see Karen standing at my front door, with bolt cutters, and a man in a black suit behind her. Not HOA. Not police. Not anyone I'd seen before. But when the officers saw him, they went completely quiet. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about rose bushes. This was bigger. Much bigger. I ran toward the porch, but one of the officers grabbed my arm. Not aggressive, more like a warning. "Don't," he said under his breath. "Let's see what this is." Karen was all smiles now, but it was fake. Too perfect. The man beside her didn't speak, didn't blink, just adjusted his cufflinks and looked straight at me like I was already guilty of something I didn't know about. Karen waved her clipboard like she was presenting a game show prize. "This is Mr. Hale. He's from Compliance Oversight." The officer beside me frowned. Compliance of what? Karen didn't answer, but Mr. Hale finally stepped forward, his voice calm, almost polite. "Sir, you're in possession of restricted materials that were meant to be removed under federal ordinance. This is not just an HOA violation." "What federal ordinance?" I asked. He pulled a folded piece of paper from his inner jacket pocket. No seal, no letterhead, just printed text and a red stamp across the top. "Clearance required." He handed it to the officer. The guy barely scanned it before whispering something to his partner. Karen took a step closer. "I warned you," she said. "I told you not to dig." And then it hit me. This wasn't about what I found. It was about what they buried, years ago, before I ever moved here. I looked at the lockbox still half buried in the dirt. The tarp was off now, and underneath were chunks of what looked like concrete slabs with strange symbols carved into them. None of this made sense, but Karen, she knew. She always knew. That wasn't HOA power she was swinging around. It was something else, something hidden under the name of neighborhood safety, rules, and property codes. She was a puppet master, and the whole community had been dancing without realizing it. Mr. Hale stepped toward the box, knelt, and brushed off some dirt. He turned to the officers. "This is now classified. No phones, no photos, no reports." "You're not federal," I said sharply. "I know how to read a real clearance tag. That's not it." He looked at me for the first time with actual expression, annoyance. Karen opened her mouth to say something smug, but I cut her off. "You're trespassing. I already filed a property line dispute 3 weeks ago. You never responded. This isn't HOA land. It's mine, and I have the deed." Karen flinched, just for a second. Then Mr. Hale stood up slowly. "You want to play legal games?" I smiled. "I'm not playing. I'm just getting started." The younger officer was already walking to the squad car. "I'll call my captain. He'll want to see this." Karen's face changed, panic again. Same look she had when she saw the tarp, only this time she knew it was slipping. And I hadn't even opened the box yet.